Hello guys, this is Shai. Many of us have been learning a second language for years, but when using it in real life, a lot of people still get stuck all the time. What's the problem here? And how can we practice to master the speaking fluency? Today, we'll dig into those blockers and find some customized exercises that can help you to speak a foreign language fluently. This is the second episode of the language learning series. You may find the full series list at the introduction below. Also, thanks everyone for the great feedback. I took notes already and will keep improving for further videos. From your own experience, imagine that you're holding a conversation with a foreign language speaker. What might block you from speaking fluently? Make your comments here and let's see if it's one of the followings. Number 1, we're learning but not using it. This is the most common issue, especially to people who are having an exam-oriented education. Without speaking out loud, we'll never get the chance to deliver what we think, not to mention being fluent in the spoken language. Number 2, we don't know the subject, aka lack of knowledge or vocabulary at a specific domain. For example, I'm a marketing professional. I can answer questions related to marketing without a problem, but if you ask me questions in physics, I'm probably going to answer with a 3-minute silence. When talking about things that we don't know much, even if using our first language, we still wouldn't be able to talk much. Number 3, the culture difference. In each country, there are multiple regions who have its own culture, habits, languages, or dialects. Even if people from different regions speak the same language, there must still be differences in word choice, accent, and expressions. So, if you don't know much about your target's local culture, it is very likely that you might have some communication issues, especially when talking about day-to-day stuff. Number 4, instead of talking, we're translating. We mentioned this in the last episode while talking about the vocabulary. When learning the foreign vocabulary, if we rely heavily on translations, our brain will get used to translating them all the time. That makes everything harder because it will take us time to process the conversation and to think about the word choice. Most importantly, the thinking logic behind different languages are different as well. Therefore, when we are translating, we might make more grammatic mistakes because we're using a different way of thinking. And that's why being a good interpreter is actually not an easy job. Number 5, our personality and interpersonal skills may vary. There are many possibilities under this point. When a person is introverted, feels nervous, speaks too fast, or just doesn't talk a lot with other people in general, speaking fluently could be more challenging. Just imagine when you're at a class, praying at your teacher to not call your name. Or during a conference, you had millions of thoughts before speaking out, but when the moment came, all the ideas were suddenly gone. And imagine when it's not in your first language, even worse. So, does that speak to you? However, don't be afraid. It's always a good thing to learn about our challenges and problems. Plus, the only reason I'm sharing these videos is just to work with you guys to make it better. Now, here are the exercises that can help you to master spoken language fluency. First, before doing anything, reconfirm your purpose of learning the language. Then find the niche subject that you want to practice. You should look for practicing content only when you find your niche. If it's for work, what's your job? And in what situation are you going to use this language? Will you talk to clients? Will you work with agencies? Or is it for business conferences? If it's for studying or living abroad, where are you going? Does that region have a specific accent? What's the culture look like? Where will the language be used? Is it for projects? Is it for interviews? Is it for medical emergencies? Or is it simply for ordering in a restaurant without saying, I want this and this and this. No, not this, this. Thank you. If it's for exam-oriented education, such as school exams, IELTS, etc., we'll have a full episode in the future just to talk about it. Once find your niche, there are 2 exercises that you can try. One is conditional shadowing. You might have heard about the shadowing exercise. For people who don't know, shadowing is basically finding an audio or a video. You listen, you repeat, while the audio keeps playing without a pause. But the reason I mentioned conditional here is that many people thought shadowing is just to follow what other people say. Therefore, they can simply find a drama they like, then start shouting. That is definitely not the case. Here are some conditions that you should pay attention when shadowing. Find the content that is in your niche, or you won't get much chance to use them in real life. Find the content that fits your current English level. The ideal shadowing exercise doesn't use subtitles and shouldn't be paused while playing. Therefore, you may not want the content that is too long, too difficult, speaks too fast, uses too many abbreviations or slangs that takes you too much time to understand. For shadowing beginners or people who have very limited vocabulary, you may use foreign language subtitles, but don't get any first language involved. If you really need explanations, use foreign language dictionary only. Shouting is different from watching shows. You should do a few rounds for each shouting exercise before moving to the next one. And you should do this on a frequent basis. One-time shouting doesn't help much in learning vocabulary or improving your language fluency. You shouldn't pause the audio for shouting exercises. For something that you don't understand, do a few rounds without checking the explanation. Trust me, you might get some good surprises there. I'll attach an example of a shouting exercise at the comment section. You may change it based on your own situation. I know you might still have some questions about the shouting exercise. We will come back to this in the future episodes. Today, we focus on the part that helps to improve your fluency. The second exercise is called free writing. What is it? Super simple. Set a timer, sit down, start writing or typing non-stop. Ignore your grammar and spelling. Just write what you think. Time's up, you stop, and you reread it. Use the niche subject you found as an open point. Then start the free writing exercise. If you're already at an intermediate language level and just want to improve your fluency, you can use the voice detector as well to save some time in writing. And here's an example.
I have been living in Canada for 6 years. I speak 4 languages, and one of my friends once asked me how did I learn those languages in such a short period of time. Then I decided to share my experience. Here are my thoughts.
Free writing is a commonly used method for getting content ideas, but also really helpful for language learners to practice their logic and fluency. This is actually an advanced version of talking to yourself. The reason I recommend free writing exercise is that when you don't know what to talk about, it opens the subject, and it gives you visual reports to check your performance. When you review it, you will notice your vocabulary and grammar usage, as well as your mind blockers. It's easier for self-check, which we'll also cover in future episodes. There are still a lot that I would love to share with you, but I also want to make each episode easy to digest. In further episodes, we'll dive into it to find more tips of learning a new language. If you're looking forward to it, simply subscribe this channel. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up to let more people see it. You can also share with your friends who may find this series helpful. As usual, anything that you'd like to know or any feedback, please comment below or inbox me. I'll make sure to bring better content to you guys in the future. I'm Shashai. See you next time. Oh my god, this is terrible. This is terrible.